Hitler was about to be fooled by an army that didn't exist. In 1944, the Allies built a phantom force in England, fake tanks, fake radio traffic, all designed to convince Germany the invasion would hit Calais. The Germans believed it completely. Operation Fortitude fed false intelligence into Hitler's command. Even after the real landings began, German generals stayed convinced Calais was the true target. One man now carried the weight of 2 million soldiers. General Eisenhower faced an impossible decision. Storms had already forced one delay. Failure meant thousands dead on open beaches with nowhere to hide. Then came the forecast that changed everything. A narrow window of clear weather appeared for June 6th. Waiting meant losing the tide, the moon, and the element of surprise forever. At dawn on June 5th, Eisenhower gave an order there was no taking back. Millions were already moving, but before a single boot touched sand, thousands of men were about to jump into darkness. They jumped into pitch darkness, straight into enemy territory. After midnight on June 6th, over 18,000 paratroopers dropped into Normandy. The 101st and 82nd Airborne aimed to secure the roads behind Utah Beach. Many never landed where they were supposed to. Anti-aircraft fire scattered the formations. Paratroopers came down miles off target, alone in flooded fields, cut off from their units entirely. One bridge was about to decide everything. British gliders landed almost silently near Bénouville. Their mission: seize Pegasus Bridge intact before German reinforcements could cross the river. German commanders refused to believe what was happening. Reports reached headquarters within the hour, but confusion and deception left the response slow. Von Rundstedt doubted this was the real invasion at all. By 3 a.m., the sky over Normandy was empty again. The paratroopers had done their part in darkness and chaos. Off the coast, a fleet larger than any in history was closing in. Nearly 7,000 ships were about to cross the English Channel. Under cover of darkness, the largest naval force ever assembled began its final approach toward the coast of Normandy, the invasion Hitler never believed would come. This was history's largest amphibious operation. Battleships, destroyers, and thousands of landing craft carried almost 200,000 sailors and soldiers across open water, escorted by warships ready to bombard the coastline the moment dawn broke. Overhead, over 1,000 aircraft prepared to strike first. Bombers targeted German gun positions along the coast, trying to soften Hitler's Atlantic Wall before a single soldier stepped off a landing craft. Below deck, thousands of young men waited in silence. Most had never seen combat. Many wrote final letters home. Within hours, they would either take the beaches of Normandy or die trying. As the sun rose on June 6th, the coastline came into view. Ahead of them waited concrete bunkers, minefields, and machine guns. One beach, above all others, was about to become a slaughterhouse. Omaha Beach was about to become the deadliest stretch of sand in the war. High bluffs gave German defenders a clear line of fire onto open beach, with almost no cover for the men approaching. The rams dropped, and the killing began instantly. Machine gun fire tore into the first wave before soldiers even reached the water. Many drowned under the weight of their own equipment before firing a shot. Entire units were wiped out in minutes. Company A of the 116th Infantry lost most of its men within the first half hour. Survivors crawled forward through bodies, using the dead for cover. For hours it looked like the invasion might fail completely. Commanders on ships offshore considered abandoning Omaha altogether. But small groups of soldiers, without orders, began climbing the bluffs anyway. By afternoon, the impossible had happened. Soldiers broke through the German defenses and pushed inland. Omaha held, but at a staggering cost. Meanwhile, further west, a smaller force faced cliffs no one thought could be climbed. They had to climb 100-foot cliffs under direct enemy fire. At Pointe du Hoc, the U.S. 2nd Ranger Battalion faced one of the most dangerous missions of D-Day, scaling sheer rock walls to destroy German coastal guns. Rope ladders and grappling hooks were their only way up. Soaked, exhausted, and under constant fire, Rangers climbed hand over hand as German soldiers fired down and cut ropes above them. When they reached the top, the guns were gone. The Rangers found empty concrete bunkers. The artillery had been moved days earlier, but the mission wasn't over yet. They found the guns hidden nearby and destroyed them. A small patrol located the relocated artillery in a nearby orchard and disabled it with explosives, eliminating a major threat to the invasion fleet. Then came the counterattack. German forces surrounded the Rangers for 2 days. Of the 190 men who climbed those cliffs, only 90 remained by the time reinforcements finally arrived. By nightfall, something no one expected had happened. Despite chaos, heavy losses, and confusion on every beach, Allied forces had gained a foothold on Nazi-occupied Europe for the first time in 4 years. German commanders were still paralyzed by indecision. Convinced Normandy might be a diversion, Hitler delayed releasing his panzer reserves for critical hours, a hesitation that would cost Germany the battle. Inland, isolated paratroopers regrouped into fighting units. Scattered across the countryside, small bands of American and British soldiers began linking up, securing roads and bridges the invasion depended on. Village by village, the German defense began to crack. Allied troops pushed beyond the beaches into the hedgerows of Normandy, opening the path toward liberating France. By the next morning, over 150,000 Allied troops stood on French soil. The beachhead was real, and it was holding. But the true cost of that single day was only beginning to be understood. D-Day's true cost is still staggering today. Over 4,000 Allied soldiers were killed on June 6th alone, part of more than 10,000 total casualties in a single day of fighting. But this single day changed the direction of the entire war. Within weeks, over 1 million Allied troops had landed in France, opening a second front that Germany could not sustain on 2 sides. Hitler's Atlantic Wall, years in the making, had fallen in hours. The myth of an impenetrable Nazi Europe was broken, and the road toward Paris, and eventually Berlin, was now open. Historians call it the beginning of the end. From this moment, Allied forces never lost momentum on the Western Front, pushing steadily toward the collapse of the Third Reich. D-Day proved that even history's strongest defenses can fall when enough people refuse to accept defeat. This was Operation Overlord. This was the day that changed the world.